our viewers around the world and here in the United States, where it was a bigly bad day in court for our former president. Oh, man, do I feel for him. Over the past 24 hours, Donald Trump had not one but 3 judges rule against him in 3 different cases. In the Georgia Find Me 11,000 Votes case, the judge rejected Trump's claim that making phone calls to get the election overturned were protected by free speech. In the Florida classified documents case, a judge he appointed denied his argument that he was allowed to take documents under the Presidential Records Act. And in New York, the judge rejected his attempt to delay the Stormy Daniels case. Trump tried to argue he had presidential immunity. Judge ruled hush money paid to an adult film star is not related to a president's official acts, which I'm pretty sure, and I'm not a historian, but I'm pretty sure is the first time a judge has ever had to say that. Don Provolone has a long list of charges against him, but I feel like we all want to see him taken down by the porn star one, right? I mean, that's the fun one. Grab him by the mushroom, Stormy. That trial will start on April 15th. April 15th is going to be a big date for Donald Trump. It's the first time in history a former president will be held accountable for cheating on his taxes and his wife on the same day. We also learned in the Florida case that Trump kept classified documents in a variety of locations. Not only did he have them at Mar-a-Lago, he had them at his house in New Jersey. He had them at Trump Tower in New York. He had them on his plane. He had them in Eric's bouncy house, in the envelopes for the birthday cards he never sent to Don Jr., under his My Pillow. He had them everywhere, which, of course, he had them everywhere. Have you ever seen this man's desk? It's like the back room at Office Max. If I was him, this would be my defense. Your Honor, I'm a slob. I don't know what to tell you. Somehow, in the middle of all these prosecutions, Trump has been on the road doing rallies where, you know, when you think back on all the presidents, there are so many great lines throughout history like, yes, we can, and tear down the wall, the buck stops here. And this new slogan from Trump, stop Biden's border bloodbath. Stop Biden's border bloodbath and beyond, in fact, is the... He unrolled that one in Michigan, where the only border Michigan shares is with Canada, but why get bogged down with details? Trump has been very shamelessly trying to exploit the murder of a young woman in Michigan who was allegedly killed by a man she was dating who also happened to enter the country illegally. This is the kind of story he loves because it furthers the false narrative that immigrants commit more crimes here than Americans do. So he grabs onto this very sad story about this woman named Ruby to use it to get elected.
Ruby's loved ones and community are left grieving for this incredible young woman, remembering what they called her. They said she had just this most contagious laughter, and when she walked into a room, she lit up that room. And I've heard that from so many people. I spoke to some of her family.
And that would be an okay thing to say if it were in any way true. According to Ruby's sister, Donald Trump never spoke to anyone in her family. And in fact, I had a hunch, so I looked it up because I know the only paper he reads is the New York Post. Seems pretty clear he lifted that moving anecdote from the Post. Her sister said she will be remembered as being full of life and laughter. Those who were around her would know she was silly and made everyone laugh. She'd brighten up the room with her beautiful smile and laugh. Well, so let's hear that clip from Trump one more time.
They said she had just this most contagious laughter, and when she walked into a room, she lit up that room. And I've heard that from so many people. I spoke to some of her family.
Yeah, no, you didn't. You did not. Well, you know, the guy can't meet every grieving family he claims he met with. If he did that, how would he win 2 fake golf tournaments in one weekend? It's impossible. There's only 3 possible explanations for this. A, Donald Trump is a bottomless scumbag who would lie about anything to make himself look like a hero. B, you got to hear the wall first. His brain has turned to oatmeal so lumpy he can't distinguish a story he flipped by in the Post from a conversation he had with a grieving loved one, or C, both of the above, which is probably it. But I'm going to tell you something. Man, oh, man, when Trump's supporters find out he lied about talking to the family of a woman who was tragically killed, they're going to do nothing. But Trump hosted a star-studded fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago last night for a MAGA robot named Carrie Lake. It was quite a who's who, headlined by none other than Roseanne Barr.
So I'm just going to say to you, please drop out of college because it's going to ruin your lives. Do me a favor, drop out, then don't teach you nothing good, email me or Twitter me or whatever you call me, and I'll help you with your life. But you got to get out of college because it isn't nothing but devil-worshipping, baby blood-drinking Democrat donors. Love ya.
The Connors, new tonight on ABC.
Oh, well, it seems like she's doing great. I remember a time when Roseanne was a big Democrat donor. She campaigned for Bill Clinton. She gave lots of money to... Of course, I remember a time when Donald Trump was a Democrat, too, but not anymore, I guess. Here's the thing. One way you know Joe Biden is doing a pretty decent job as president is when you tune in to the silly things Republicans are now forced to complain about.
On Good Friday, we went by McDonald's and picked up the Filet-O-Fish, which is now about half the size of the Filet-O-Fish before Biden. Every time you turn around, you're reminded that these policies of the Biden Democrats do not work.
What a filet hole. I mean, maybe his head is just bigger. When Trump was president, you couldn't even get a Filet-O-Fish because he ate them all. McDonald's had to put out a statement saying the Filet-O-Fish hasn't changed size in decades. But I guess people lie about the size of fish all the time. So, Fox, this is good. At the same time they're hammering Biden about the Filet-O-Fish, they're praising Donald Trump for selling his own version of the Bible.
You know, President Trump selling a Bible is kind of a regular guy thing to be doing. It's not, it's not presidential, right? You know, you've got the sons or the brothers to do the selling of things. This is what Trump does. It takes him into people's kitchens, into their living rooms, while the left is sitting up on the highest mountain in the world looking down on all of the hoi polloi.
He literally lives in a tower looking down on the hoi polloi. Literally, this regular Bible-selling guy. Nice work, Tammy. You know, usually when you spin that hard, it messes up your blowout, but your hair looked great. These people, there is no statement too nonsensical to make either for Donald Trump or against Joe Biden.
You know that white stuff that they happen to find, which happened to be cocaine in the White House? I don't know. I think something's going on there, because I watched his State of the Union, and he was all jacked up at the beginning. By the end, he was fading fast. There's something going on there. I want to debate, and I think debates with him, at least, should be drug tested. I want to.
Mr. President, are you suggesting President Biden's using cocaine?
I don't know what he's using, but that was not. Hey, he was higher than a kite.
Now Joe Biden is doing cocaine. That makes sense. If anything, he's not doing coke. He's doing sarsaparilla. The man is 145 years old, but by all means, do a drug test. Let the whole country watch the both of you pee into a cup. Make it the same cup. In Paris, you know, they're begrudgingly preparing for the Summer Olympics. This morning, they had a ceremony to mark the official opening of the Olympic pool. He landed right on his Luganus. That's probably a bad sign. And on a similar note, back here in the States, I would like to congratulate the Fox 59 News team in Indianapolis for their exciting win, this week's award for excellence in reporting.
The festival runs from 10 to 5 on the day of the eclipse. Reporting at White River State.
Oh, no, well, hey, while you're down there, would you pick up Newt Gingrich a Filet-O-Fish? He only got half of one at the McDonald's. We had quite a caper here in Los Angeles over Easter weekend, one of the biggest heists in history. While the rest of us were hunting eggs on Sunday, burglars stole $30 million cash from a money storage facility. I didn't know, who knew there was such a thing as a money storage? I thought they were called banks, but I guess at the moment, authorities still don't have a suspect. They're looking for anyone who still uses cash. So, based on how the crooks broke in without setting off any of the alarms, authorities believe they must be sophisticated thieves. It happened in the San Fernando Valley, not far from Guillermo's house, actually. Guillermo, did you hear anything about this?
I did not hear anything.
You don't know anything about it?
No, it's crazy, Jimmy.
Okay, well, you look great.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy.
By the way, why is anyone else rooting for the thieves? I don't know why I am. I think there should be a law, like if you can pull off a crime this cool and not get caught for a week, you're in the clear, right?
I totally agree with you.
I figured you would. Apple is up to something big. According to Bloomberg, engineers at Apple have been working on a device that will cohabitate with you and follow you around the house, which I think are called children now. Apple was working on a car, and they ditched that, so now they're focused on a robot that would be your little servant, like R2-D2, but this one can do chores like washing dishes for you. We have become increasingly dependent on technology to do our stuff for us, so much so that I worry that the next generation won't learn how to do anything themselves. It's already happening. We came up with a little experiment, went out in Hollywood Blvd, and we asked young people passing by our studio to complete a simple task. We asked them to show us how to send a letter to mom. We gave them an envelope and a stamp, and God help us, here's how that went.
There's an envelope in front of you.
Okay.
How would you address that envelope if you wanted to send something to, say, your mom?
I would put the address here.
The address?
In this corner.
What address would you put there?
Like my parents' address?
And then where would you put the stamp?
I would put the stamp over here.
How many stamps would you need?
I feel like one looks the cutest, it's the most aesthetically pleasing in the corner.
I agree.
I think in the middle is where I would put potentially my address. This is my return address.
So your return address is smack dab in the middle?
Smack down in the middle.
Perfect. Is it missing anything? Maybe.
Am I supposed to put my parents' name on it?
Let's address this letter to your grandmother.
Okay.
So what goes up in that corner, up in the left corner?
I would write like, dear grandma, I would say. Yeah.
And this is the outside of the envelope, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yep, okay, perfect.
I
Okay.
would probably write something like this.
Where would you put the stamp?
There we go.
Can you show us what we got here?
Yeah, do you want me to read it to you or just like show you?
Yeah, you can just hold it up and you can read it to us, yeah.
Okay. Dear grandma, thank you for all the birthday presents. It made me very happy and I really like them. I hope to see you again soon.
That's really sweet.
Love, Mason.
And now we would not think to throw an address on there.
Yeah.
You would throw an address. Okay, where would the address go?
So if it's for her address, I think on this side.
Yes. Have you ever sent a letter before?
I have.
For what?
It's community hours.
Can you address this envelope to your mother?
Okay.
Where would you put the return address? Do you live by yourself?
I do live by myself.
So tell me what you've done here.
I wrote it all upside down, and I wrote that same address twice, her name, and I put a cactus in the corner.
Are you high?
I am.
Did you put anything else on the envelope?
No.
Oh, perfect.
This is what
That's
I
it.
do.
That's what you would do.
Yeah.
You wouldn't add anything else?
No.
Okay, great.
I think it's perfect.
Do you mind if your dad comes in with you real fast?
Yeah.
The name is supposed to go here, then the address. And
It's
then
not supposed to be in the corner?
No, this is where it's sending from.
If you were sending a letter to your grandma,
Yeah.
where would you put her address on the envelope? Let's review what you've done. You've got the address there.
Yep.
That's how you would write it if you wanted to send it?
Yeah,
And then what would you put on the other side?
the return address.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I want to be honest, I'm concerned about you. This is your grandmother over here. Let's bring her in.
Yeah.
Stamp goes over here. You finished my address for one, and then the return address goes up here. You didn't even write the apartment number, the tab. You didn't
Forgot.
This is really, really bad.
Sorry.
You okay?
The return address? Well, I put it up in the top right. Yeah.
And where would you put the stamp?
This corner. The left side.
Upper left? On the bottom left corner.
So what do we have here?
So what we have the name of the person I'm sending it to.
Yeah.
The street address, the city and state, and then the zip code, and then a stamp in the top left and a return address in the top right.
Where do you go to school?
I go to Harvard.
That's our fault, not theirs, by the way.